I feel like in life we tend to complicate things, or I guess the word I could use is even stress about things that we don't even have to be complicating or stressing about, whether that be with people, relationships, situations. Recently, I've learned so much about how important my time is and how valuable my time is. Like, I can't stress that enough. We have a bad habit of using our time to try to attach to things that hold no value, whether that be people, things, situations. I believe we're all put in each other's lives to either teach another person something or learn from that person. I feel like everything is a learning experience. It's something that you can take from me. I don't think there's ever a situation where you could completely walk away and be like, I didn't learn anything. Specifically with people, there are times where I believe God places certain people in my life in order for me to learn something. And after I learned what I had to learn from that person or something dealing with that person, the relationship ends. I feel like we have a hard time letting go of people because of that learning experience that we had. There are times where you'd be like, oh, I can't let this person go because we went through this or this happened, or we just went through so much. And yes, sometimes that is the case, but sometimes I feel like people are supposed to be in our life for a certain amount of time, and I feel like we have a problem with letting things go. It's like you're already here. This person's already here. Like, you learned what you had to learn, but it's like you're still trying to be here with this person. And it's like I heard this pastor talk about how we all have a circle. So that circle is our group of friends, and as you're moving to where God needs you to be, you're learning different things. That circle's moving with you. But once that circle stops moving and you trying to go places, once you're moving places that God needs you to be, you learning different things, you going up here, that circle becomes your cage. They're trying to go to where God needs you to be, but you can't because that circle is keeping you caged in. So you gotta leave that circle to be able to get to where God needs you to be. You stay in a situation that no longer has value, I feel like we tend to revert back into old habits and forget what we even learned in the first place. With that being said, I'm gonna explain to y'all why detachment is so important. I'm not saying it's bad to be attached to someone, but when you're attached to someone, you're letting that person control your emotions and the way you feel. When you attach to somebody, they have control over your emotions. There also comes a sense of you really needing this person, or even needing this person, like you need this person to heal. This person is the only person who can make you feel better, or with this person just saying one word, now you mad, now you sad. Like, this person at the snap of a finger can control the way you feel, just like that. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but I'm not gonna say it's hard either, but I had to learn to detach from people and situations that waste my time, energy, hurt me, or disrespect me. And don't get me wrong, there's gonna be people in your life who make you feel like what you're doing is like you're doing the extreme. Oh, like you just gonna leave this situation or leave this person alone because they did one thing, but that one thing was enough. You disrespected me, or you hurt me, or you wasted my time. People look at that as such minuscule things, but all those things hold value. I had to learn that when you encounter people like that, don't change your standards or boundaries. There's gonna be people who question you or make you feel like, oh, like you're doing too much. At the end of the day, don't change that. If you don't have standards or boundaries, make sure to set those. Let that be the first thing that you do with people or in situations, because when you do that, I promise you, it's not going to be all the time, don't get me wrong, but I promise you at a certain point there will be a person who respects you just because you had those standards or because you had those boundaries, or there's just going to be stuff that's not even going to go down because you set those standards or boundaries. This might be hard to grasp for some people, but you shouldn't have to tell somebody how to treat you, how to respect you, how to value you, how to treat you nicely. All these are things that some people like you and me who's watching this, we may think this is common things, and don't get me wrong, I think it is a common thing, but there are people out there who literally will expect you to teach them how to be a good person or walk them through certain things, and it's like we too grown. I don't want to say it, but we too grown. I did used to have situations where I did have to teach people how to act, or how to be a good friend, or how to be considerate, or how to not be selfish, how to respect me. And it's like, at a certain point, I just came to a point where it's just like, why am I teaching you how to do things that's like first nature to me. Like I wouldn't even have to think, like I'm just gonna do it. There's people out there who are just like you, who are just do it. You wouldn't have to walk them through or teach them, oh wait, do this, do that. And sometimes the people that you even have to be teaching those things be the main one causing you the most stress, because it's just like, why aren't you already doing it? Like, you know what I mean? Why isn't that the first thought in your mind? And that's how I get back to the point of valuing your time and your energy and who you give that out to. If you don't know how to detach from somebody, there's a number of ways of how to detach. Even you may think it's the littlest thing, but that can go a long way. Whether it be following that person off of Instagram, blocking them, deleting their number, or even just not even saying anything at all and just leaving them alone, leaving that situation alone. And there may be some people who feel like, oh wait, you have to have a conversation. And most of the time, those people don't even know what they did wrong or what's even going on. I don't have to have a whole essay or whole explanation for you to explain to you and give you a reason why I don't want to be around you, or a reason why I can't give you my time. If you really think about it, just even having to talk to them and then just hearing the excuses they will make is literally just as draining as the situation that even just happened. I had to learn to make peace my priority. I don't have to explain this to this person and make sure that we're on the same page and make sure they get me and understand me. You don't have to understand me. You don't have to agree with me. When a situation happens, I know what you did. That's enough for me to even just step back. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a situation where it's stuff that just continuously just keep happening. I had to learn to just like, you know, just leave it alone. Sometimes it's not even a conversation. Like you can't even have a conversation at this point. Like you already had a conversation like 10 times. So what am I supposed to say? Once you learn your place in somebody's life, I promise you they will not be able to hurt you. Don't think, oh, just because I'm treating them like this or I'm acting this type of way towards them, that's how they feel about me. I had to learn that people are not gonna think exactly like you do. People are not gonna act exactly like you do. I remember that's something that my mom always used to tell me. People are not gonna think how you do. What you think is first nature, that's like second nature, third nature. Like, y'all, they're not even thinking to do that. Me being the person who usually makes efforts in like most of my relationships, I learned this pretty early, but I had to learn to just fall back. Once you fall back, I promise you, you're gonna have so much more peace. Cause even now, just thinking about some of the times I was just like, you know, just going on, trying to do this or do that in people or situationships. It's just like, I just wasted my time being so repetitive or trying to tell this person how to understand me or do what I'm doing. But it's just like, not everybody gonna do what you do. So it's like those mistakes they keep making, those misunderstandings, it's not even that anymore. Like those aren't even mistakes to you. Those aren't even misunderstandings. Like that's just you. That's just your character. That's just how you are. To me, that may be that, but you can't try to push what you believe or push what you think somebody should be doing on others. It's not gonna get you nowhere. Don't get me wrong, I pray every day asking God to make me more wise or give me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The best thing that you can do is be self-aware. Being self-aware is the best thing you can do for self-improvement. Don't be that person that just be like, oh, this is how I am. Grow up. Don't get me wrong, I used to say that too. At a certain point, it's not, oh, this is how I am. You have an immature mindset. You need to grow up. We're constantly growing. We're constantly evolving. You can't just keep saying, this is how I am. Especially if you're young at that. You can't really even say young. Nobody's too old to learn something or self-improve. The first thing you gotta do is have self-reflection. Think, what did you do? How did you act? You may think that's common, but a lot of people don't self-reflect. They just be doing things without thinking or talking without thinking. Another thing I had to learn is when somebody tells you about yourself, stop being so defensive. Like me personally, I'm still working on that, because at the end of the day, we all think of ourselves in a certain way, but people on the outside can see you in a completely different way. Sometimes it's like, yeah, like there could be a situation where this person is completely wrong about you, but other time, try to think, how did it make that other person feel? What did that person think? What was the impact of what I did dependent on this other person. It's always good to listen, y'all. Like, you gotta learn to listen. It's also important to learn how to take accountability. Nobody wants to jump up and say, oh yeah, I'm wrong, or yeah, I treated you bad, and yeah, I'm sorry. It's also important to know that you can't control how people feel about you or see you. People just gonna feel how they want to feel at the end of the day. But it's important to do this for your own self, your self-improvement. There are times people can see you in the wrong way and completely have a bad image in their head or representation of who you are, but it's important to be confident in how you see yourself and know that how they see you is an opinion and not a fact. Worry about your character and not your reputation. Just because this person's acting like a horrible person or did something bad to you doesn't mean you should not reflect that same energy onto this person, or because they did something bad to you, you're gonna have to do something bad to them. At the end of the day, don't let somebody change who you are just because they're a negative person. Keep being that kind, caring sweetheart that you are. Keep being considerate, keep being understanding, and don't let somebody's ugly behavior become your behavior. That doesn't even make sense. Fight ugly with ugly? Come on, bro. In the end, sometimes when you detach, you can't feel like you're lonely or you have nobody to talk to and you're just by yourself. But learn it's okay to be alone. It's okay to be by yourself. You can meet new people who think like you do, people who actually value you and your time. There's gonna be times where people maybe do things that hurt your feelings and you want to get them back and do something that hurts their feelings. But I had to learn that detachment is really important and can help y'all in the long run. Things that may have hurted you before, like, oh dang, like this person didn't call me back, or this person didn't text me back, or this person didn't invite me somewhere. Things that may have got to you before, just little things like that won't get to you after you learn to detach from situations and people that hold no value. You're gonna learn to be okay with not getting a text back or a call back, invited to that party, included in the hangout, thought about, and you're gonna learn to be okay with being alone. You're gonna be thinking to yourself like, wait, did I detach? How do I know? You're gonna know you detach from people and situations when things no longer start to bother you, where people do things that they did before and you just like, hey, you just leave it alone. You just sit back and you just watch. Like, you don't try to go in and start talking about it and doing all this type of stuff. Like, I'm telling you, value your time for real. Once you learn all these things, you're gonna be thinking and acting in a completely different way. That's good. Like, there's gonna be people who like, oh yeah, you can't detach, but detachment can be used in a positive way. At the end, all I'm really trying to say is when you learn to really emotionally detach from people and situations, you'll start to realize how more calm you are, stress-free you are. Look at your time like it's gold. You can't give your gold out to everybody, okay? Okay.